Max speaking for the Court of Consciousness system presently. Um, so we personally take the opinion that spirits and gods are archetypes of consciousness and are living symbols that represent core aspects of human consciousness, the universe, and Earth and other things. They can be anything. And we believe that spirits can have their own opinions, memories, beliefs, and wills, but that it all sort of works through the person interpreting them's own consciousness, and that language itself is voicing symbols, is sounds that convey meaning and understanding. And so when a spirit is communicating to you, they're trying to get their symbols to work with your symbols to make it so you understand what they're saying, but sometimes there's like glitches and bugs and other things that happen. That wasn't what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about what the spirits actually look like. Because here's the thing, right? There are actually people who, part of their spiritual journey involves visually seeing or hallucinating, spirits. For us specifically, it works differently. We believe as a D.I.D system that we actually, in our personal opinion, for our specific system, every system is different, but for our specific system, we actually do see ourselves as spirits by our own definition of what a spirit is. We see ourselves as fitting that. And this has created great difficulty within our life because we were raised half Christian and then half anti-theist. And in the anti-theist sub-brand of atheism, our very existence as an autistic and frankly gender and sexually diverse D.I.D system, so a person who experiences plurality of beings, someone who's multiple people, one body, doesn't fit in to what we were raised to believe was the objective, one true reality, material existence. Our innate existence doesn't fit the rules we were taught, which frankly are just capitalist, progress over people, colonizer, like, do this, conform stuff that actually is just as made up as everything else is. But what do spirits look like to people who can perceive them? So for us personally, because we can only talk about it from our own personal experiences, we cannot talk for other people. And right now, Max is talking from my experiences. There are other headmates within us that may have different opinions on things. But for us, we see them not with our eyes, and we don't hear them with our ears, but we do still hear them and see them. And how it feels like for us is that we're seeing them like here or sort of like in our imagination, I would say. Like, I feel what they look like here with their energy. And then, but I also hear the words like an inner monologue. So this is why I think my sense of spirituality is very connected to my experience as autistic and as a D.I.D system. And why I believe that actually alters are a kind of spirit for our system specifically. I don't want to talk on behalf of other people with plurality of being and plurality of consciousness. But for us, hearing them is like kind of a whisper, but it's the same as an internal monologue. So there are people without an internal monologue. So if you were someone without an internal monologue, you wouldn't necessarily know how to envision that. But there's a lot of people who they can hear their own thoughts. And there are people with intrusive thoughts, which we also have. Intrusive thoughts are unwanted, that's not the right word. Intrusive thoughts are intrusive. They hurt. You don't want them. You can't control them. They just go in, and they seem random, is how it feels. We have had intrusive thoughts tied to our trauma, but then we also have internal monologues, plural, because of our D.I.D. And when spirits talk to us, it creates a temporary internal monologue for whatever we're talking to. And if they're not a system member, and then they'll be able to communicate the symbols and languages through our own knowledge of that language and tell us things. So if I touch a tree and want to talk to the tree spirit, I would focus on the energy of that tree. I would imagine the energy around that tree. And then for me, at this point, I would be given an image in my imagination of what that spirit looks like. And then I would hear an internal monologue, the same as other internal monologues that would be sort of like, it feels like it's inside. It's not coming in here. It's coming like here is where it feels like for us. And then those words would convey something to me. And sometimes spirits just say sort of like random crap that doesn't really make any sense. And then other times they say something really profound and interesting, and you're like, damn, wow, okay. And actually we think it's very similar to Dreamlings. With people familiar with lucid dreaming, you will know that Dreamlings are the self-aware people in lucid dreams, are the people who feel like real people in lucid dreams. And we think that that actually connects to both D.I.D. alters and also spirits, which we see all of these things as connected, as very deeply connected, but being perceived and experienced in different ways. Okay, I really got off track, but that's okay, because I'm connecting different things and giving context for this video that could help someone. To us, how does Archangel Samiel look for us? So we have actually a personal altar who is a split-offer version of Samiel that was given to us to protect us, to take care of us, to love us, and to help raise us and different things. But we have a version of the Grim Reaper who is in our system. And to us, they look like a pitch white albino angel, like stark, almost glowing or sickly white all over. They have like no melanin is one of their forms. They have multiple forms. This is one of the forms I'm describing. They have white hair that is like sort of wavy, and they have pitch black eyes, like alien, no light, pitch black eyes. Sometimes they have horns or a tail or sharp nails. Sometimes they don't. And often they'll have black dripping from their eyes as well, or their mouth. And then sometimes they'll have blood dripping from their eyes and mouth. And that's sort of the image of them that comes to mind the most often for us. But they also have like other images, because what Samiel is to us is an embodiment of death, of the shadow of all, and of some other things can also be mixed with that. But the primary components of Samiel is death, who we see as actually a different alter or spirit, Azrael, combined with shadow, who we see as Bezaliel, and then combining shadow of all with death makes Samiel, is how we see it personally. And we described how Samiel looks for us. Also, another thing that gets blurred over, because, like, the thing is, with Bezaliel, how we're defining him also means that a lot of other entities and a lot of other spirits overlap rather significantly for us with Samiel. And one of the things we've noticed is sometimes we'll meet another spirit, and that spirit will know me through Samiel, even though I don't really know them yet, and that can get confusing, but it's because if you're divining something as, like, this really huge thing, then that can be split off into other things, and I might need to split off later. Anyways, so